Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third story of Three Scary True Lonely Cabin Horror Stories. Last time, we had to deal with a crazy new girlfriend. And now, the second one, we had to deal with a man outside of our main character cabin who really wanted to come in. And this one, I have no idea what this one to be about. But it was written by TTL. So yeah, let's just hop into it right now. Let's do this. Okay. Go.
About 6 months ago, my father passed away. I'm not looking for any sympathy or anything like that. I didn't have a good
I'll give it
relationship
to you anyway.
with the man. He wasn't a bad guy. He just didn't know how to be a proper father to me specifically.
Oh, to you.
At a very young age, I realized that I was nothing like him.
Oh.
I knew I wasn't going to become the person he wanted me to be. And I know that bothered him, even if it was just subconscious. Fast forward to 6 months ago when my father passed, and I was surprised to see that he left me his cabin in his will.
Hey, well, even if you weren't gonna be like him, or he didn't know how to raise you, that didn't mean he didn't care about you. I need enough to leave you something in his will.
I had friends tell me that this was my father playing one last joke on me, but I don't think that's the case.
Really?
I think he knew I would sell it, and I think that's what he wanted me to do.
Yeah?
After some of the boring paperwork details, I was told that, to sell it, I needed to go and clean it up and maybe fix some of the things that needed work.
Okay.
I used that as an excuse to stay at the cabin one last time. This was my way of saying goodbye to my father.
Oh.
When I arrived at the cabin, the first thing I noticed was the horrific smell.
Oh no.
It smelled like death in there. And no, he didn't pass away in the cabin.
That
would be crazy. He actually hadn't been to the cabin in almost a year before he died. I looked around for any dead animals, but I think the place
Please don't tell me his father killed somebody in the cabin, and the smell is their dead body. That would be horrible.
Years of not being cleaned properly. The next thing I noticed after the smell was that the cabin looked exactly how I remembered it looking when I was 10. He still had the same setup,
you were there when you were
couches,
10?
the same bookshelves. Literally everything was the same. I spent a few hours downstairs deep cleaning every inch of that place.
Oh,
luckily, my father fixed the roof a few years ago, so
that
was the one thing I didn't need to worry about. While I was going over my checklist of things I wanted and needed to do, I kept hearing noises coming from above me.
Oh.
Like the sound of rustling and movement.
I would have to check
that
out
first. That he had an attic in this cabin. Attic might be a stretch. It's really like a mix of an attic and a crawl space.
Okay.
Almost like it doesn't know exactly what it wants to be.
Ventilation,
There's a back hallway in the cabin, and located on the ceiling in the back hall is a pull-down cord.
And that's where you go to the attic.
One of the retractable ladders comes down.
I've never seen one of those in person.
And I was prepared to be attacked by a legion of raccoons or squirrels.
A person?
Instead,
what about a person?
I was attacked by an even more foul smell than before.
Oh, okay.
I started to cough from the horrible smell in the attic. After my coughing spell, I looked around and was disgusted.
What?
There were boxes everywhere.
Oh.
But the worst part was that there was trash all over the place.
Ew.
Wrappers from food, empty beer cans, and just garbage everywhere.
Oh, there's a person.
I knew my dad was not the cleanest person, but I also didn't think my dad was this messy and disgusting. I picked up some of the trash, but I only stayed up there for a little bit.
Yeah, you can't handle the
smell.
Horrible,
and I was tired from cleaning downstairs. I wasn't mentally prepared to go through all the boxes and deal with the upstairs at that moment.
Damn.
I took out a bunch of trash and decided that I would clean upstairs tomorrow. Not long after, I went to bed. I put some of my clean sheets on his bed and slept in his old room.
Oh, that's nice, I think. I think that's nice. Man, if that were me, I think I would, have a bit of fun, looking through all his old boxes, seeing what he had up there. I mean, I wouldn't like the garbage and the smell, but, maybe put on an air freshener or something.
I woke up during the night because I thought I heard the sound of rustling again.
No.
I started to think that maybe the walls had some kind of animal infestation.
Ew.
That would explain why I kept hearing movement.
That would be horrible if you wanted to sell the house.
Were also dying in the walls, and that would explain the smell. The only problem with my theory was that the sounds I kept hearing were clearly coming from above my head in the attic. Since I wasn't sleeping very well, I decided to plug my nose and go check it out. When I got to the back hall, I noticed that the attic door latch was open and the ladder was hanging down. I thought that was weird, but totally possible that I didn't shut the door all the way, and maybe the wind or raccoons knocked it down.
Really?
When I went to latch the door, I noticed another snack food wrapper on the ground at the base of the ladder.
Oh.
I couldn't believe there was more trash. I picked it up, stormed into the kitchen angrily, and threw the trash away. I grabbed a water bottle,
why are you so angry?
And sat on the couch. It was dark in the living room, and I knew I wasn't going to fall asleep again, so I decided to stay awake. He had a small end table next to the couch with a little lamp on it. I turned on the lamp, and it wasn't very strong. It was a low orange light, but it was enough for right now. Just enough so I didn't have to sit in complete darkness.
Okay.
I started to think about my father. Then I started thinking about my father in this cabin.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, why would he ever hang out in that nasty, dirty attic when he has the entire cabin to himself?
He wouldn't.
Even though the cabin was disgusting, it was a lot nicer than a dirty attic. While I was sitting there,
I mean, how dirty is it?
And I saw something weird.
What?
It looked like a blanket covering something next to the recliner. That alone wouldn't be weird. What was weird is that I cleaned that entire downstairs earlier, and I don't remember a blanket covering anything.
Oh no.
I slowly got up and started to approach the blanket.
Furniture.
I froze in my tracks. I was a couple feet away from the blanket. I noticed something that looked like the bottom of a boot protruding from the blanket.
It's a person.
I slowly took a step back and tried to focus my eyes in the mostly dark room.
It's a person.
I was staring right at the blanket, and I watched the entire blanket shift. It was clear to me that someone was under this blanket.
Yeah.
I wasn't hearing animals earlier. I was listening to the sound of a person moving around.
Yeah.
I stood there for a second, just watching the blanket. The more I stared at it, the more I realized how obvious it was that a person was hiding there.
Yeah.
I could clearly see the blanket moving up and down from whoever was breathing underneath.
Okay. Here's what you have to do. Right now, you have two options. Offensive and defensive. Okay, now, defensive, what you have to do now is you have to keep backing away from it. Keep backing away from it. And keep backing away from it. But make sure you do not make a sound. And then, after you're far enough away from it, you get your phone, you go somewhere where they won't hear you, and then you call 911 and report that somebody had broken into your cabin. Okay. And then you wait. You play the waiting game. You hang out right across from the person, and you just wait it out with a knife or whatever. Or you can do offensive. This one is a lot less technical. Offensive, all you have to do is start kicking the blanket, right? And I mean kicking the blanket, right? You just start shoving all your weight into your boot, and you just keep kicking them until hopefully they're unconscious. And then you can call 911. I really recommend the first one and not the second one.
The blanket. I didn't want to find anything else out about this person.
Yeah.
I slowly retreated to the kitchen,
Good.
grabbed my phone and keys,
Good.
and sprinted out of the cabin.
Good.
I ran to my car and started it, and started backing down the long driveway.
Call 911.
I looked up and saw a scary-looking, mangy man run out the door.
Oh, God.
He didn't chase my car or anything. He just ran outside and stood in front of the cabin.
Oh, God.
I called the local police department and reported this to
them. Good.
They told me that because my father hadn't been living in the cabin for some time, some random person probably moved in there for warmth.
Yeah.
When nobody ever came to the cabin, he probably just stayed. Judging by the smell, he figured that the man was probably there for at least a year. Which makes sense because my father hadn't been to the cabin in a while before he passed away.
Wow.
By the time the police showed up, the man was gone.
Yeah, well, of course.
I had no other information about who the man was, where he came from, or where he went. I don't think he intended to hurt me unless he had to. He clearly had a lot of chances and didn't do anything. But it doesn't change the fact that I was sitting next to a strange man who had been living in filth in my father's attic.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Do you have to, I think it would really depend on where he lived. But yeah, come on, man. You move into this house, this abandoned house, or a cabin for warmth. And come on, you can't take a couple hours out of your day to put the trash in a trash can. I know it's a cabin in the woods, but are you sure that every once in a while you couldn't just take your garbage to a public park and dump it in there? You had to keep all the garbage in the attic? Really? Where was she living? Was she living in your dad's bed? Because, I don't think a homeless man would want to sleep in his own filth either.
Never took another step inside that cabin after that night.
Did you sell it?
I hired someone to clean it out without even telling them.
Okay.
Maybe that makes me a jerk.
No.
I got rid of everything inside, and I sold it as is. I hope whoever owns the cabin now is as happy as my father was in that place, and that they never have to deal with a surprise visitor.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make you a jerk, right? Maybe if there was a chance they could come back, or you knew that they might come back, but you had no reason to believe that. So I think you're fine. So, but that was all three Scary True Lonely Cabin horror stories. I really like the first and the second one. Those ones had the most plot to them. The third one was okay, it just was kind of a bit more lackluster than the other two. Oh, but if I had to choose a favorite out of those two, I would say this one. It had a bit more of a personal touch to it. But that is going to do it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!